It's Taco Tuesday. Hi, this is Taco Wednesday because apparently we struggle with knowing how days work. As we continue forward from there, hopefully you finish chapter 5 because I'm not reading it with you, although I will be talking about it because there's a couple scenes in there I need to mention. I will be reading chapter 6 today because we're going to get to my favorite scene and my favorite character. And then your next check point is coming up on page 130, which will be for Monday. And I am not reading with you guys on Friday. We have a different activity, which I think we still go over pretty well.
No.
And you have survived the first round of iLearn. You do have more iLearn, it's just not until January, and then again in March, and then again in May. Because we no longer have NWEA, so now you get to have iLearn 4 times a year as opposed to that.
That's so fun.
And then we got kid there's working on a thing. Hi, Gabe.
Is it Didja that spelled wrong?
No, that was just slang.
Hey, we go back to it.
And schedule today, no flex, you're stuck with me till the bell rings. And tomorrow we go back to normal-ish schedule. And so as far as the design goes, I will have order forms starting tomorrow. I did try different designs after talking on Monday, where I went from the one that I showed you here, and I was like, well, maybe I can try it if I do it with red letterings on black. Which wasn't bad, but honestly, I just didn't like it as much. It just sort of fades in. And then I was like, well, maybe it's because it doesn't have white behind it. So I went ahead and put white behind it. But then that looked too much like Papa John's. And I'm like, that didn't work. So I was like, well, maybe the first one, but if I pull the white out of the first one, and then I was like, eh. So in the end, I'm going back to that one because I just don't like the way the other ones look. So I will have an order form for you guys starting tomorrow. You have through next week to get the order forms to me. T-shirts are 15, hoodies are 30. Order them if you want. If not, so be it. Yeah.
I think the first one that you're going to keep, I think it would be better if you add like a white outline to the letters.
I tried it. It didn't look as good as you think. I did. I also done this one. I tried doing a white and it didn't. I keep trying and they just don't look as good as I wanted them to. Hi, Gabe.
I'm just double checking. So you said that one's the one you keep.
Correct.
Oh, that's good.
I'm glad. Is it cooking like your name? Okay. It's Davey. Yes.
What if like you get like a really like small like light or something to outline the bat symbol instead of the letters?
Around this one?
Yeah, I know.
That's what I had tried doing the first time.
Oh, I thought you meant like you kind of put it on
Yeah,
the letters.
I had another student do the individual letters, and that looked even worse. It's, I don't know.
It's just the contrast doesn't really work with the bat symbol.
No. But that fits you guys, because you guys are kind of weird too, so I figure it works out all right.
I thought we were the best.
What?
What?
Okay. So then to here, let's see, we have this review. I want to, before this, I want to read you something from the regular kids book. It's an allusion, now that you guys did your allusions last week for IXL, where it's a reference to something. And I want to see if you can pick up what this is a reference to. Not Fortnite. Okay. So this is a kid who's creeping around and he is going up and he sneaks up to this his other kid's house and is peeking in, looking through the windows. And he looks into the windows and goes, "Keeping myself low, I made my way to the side of the house and peered into a window. 2 people who seemed on the verge of being elderly sat on a couch watching TV. When I stood there for a few minutes, Tyson wasn't there, and these people, who must have been Tyson's aunt and uncle or whatever, did not move from the couch at all. 'They're dead,' said a voice in my brain that sounded a bit like Ralphie Sherman. 'They're dead, and they've been stuffed.'"
Turkey!
It's like the landlady?
The landlady. So they had like a random landlady reference in here. So I was like, the fact is that all of a sudden he was like, "They're dead and they're stuffed." So I was like, oh, my regular kids didn't read that story. So what?
Like they're actually dead and stuff.
No. Sorry. Just then, the woman mumbled something about how many commercials were on the tube nowadays. Well, so much for them being stuffed, I guess. So that was the next
So we
one.
wanted them to be stuff?
No, it was just he was freaking out.
Well, I guess.
So, wow. Ben. Bye.
What's that?
Apparently. Oh, never mind. Then you can ignore this piece of paper. Yeah. Okay. Bad piece of paper. I don't know what I'm going to do on that. So then, anyway, wanted to share that one with you. Let's get to other things we get to do. So if you've not written in your book, you can. If you just want to go to page 130 or on your little post-it note and put page 130, that's where you're going to need to read. I'm not reading with you on Friday. So after today when we read together, you'll be on your own. I do not want you showing up on Monday and then going, what? We had to read? Oh, no, because you were not going to have time to read on that day. So I'm just trying to help you. Hi, Colton.
Can I stand up and text my mom?
Sure. Hi.
So we should have like a designated reader book in class or everything.
I want to text my mama.
Alright. So, where we left off with you guys. Have I done this for you guys yet? Where I went through and broke down each character, like a little description?
No.
So I'll start putting this up for you. I didn't think I'd showed it to you yet. So I went through and I'm hoping this will make it a little bit easier if I pop it up on occasion. So to be able to tell the difference, I went through for each of the different people and gave you the ages and a little description of them. So I'm hoping this will make things a bit easier. As we get closer to quiz, I can try to give it to you again and stuff like that. But I know with all 7 of the characters, they can get a little confusing, so I was hoping this would help. Let's see, so we left off with Churchy Bits. Then at Churchy Bits, they try to disguise themselves. What do they use to disguise themselves?
Cut their hair and bleach. Yeah.
Not bleach.
Ver something.
It was a peroxide.
There you go, this hydrogen peroxide
That's
stuff.
what I said.
So, which is different than bleach. I mean, hydrogen peroxide is when you fall off your bike as a little kid and then you go inside just crying and your mom takes the brown bottle and she pours it into the cap and she's like, this might hurt a little bit, and she pours it on there and it bubbles, and then Tegan does this thing with her face. And so that's the thing with her face. And so that's what hydrogen peroxide is, which is different than bleach. Because, I mean, they're similar, but bleach is way, way better. This works on your hair also. If you are someone who can go out to the pool in the summertime and you spend a lot of time at the pool, sometimes it makes your hair go a lighter color. This does the same thing. You can go put hydrogen peroxide and just blah, 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 all through your hair and then just go outside and stand in the sun and it'll take dark hair and then turn it into lighter hair.
Wow.
Now, it's not magic. If you have dark hair like Liam, it's not going to just all of a sudden magically become like Case. But it should lighten your hair from one to the other. So that's why they do it. But only one of them does it. Who does it? Why does Johnny not?
Because he doesn't want to look like that.
Because his hair is white on.
And so it turns out that Johnny, as we get farther into the story, we're going to find out he's either part Native American or part Hispanic. He doesn't really know. But he has dark skin. And he's like, I have dark skin. If I have blonde hair, I'm going to stick out, and that's going to look really weird. He's like, but Pony Boy, you're a lily white boy. You're fine. And so that's why he can dye his hair, but Johnny can't. But there is a thing they both can do, which is the whole, the snippy, cutty, cut. Oh, they don't use scissors. What they use?
Switchblade.
When was the last time that switchblade was used? Yeah. Try not to think about what might have been on there when they were going through and cutting their hair. Or, I take it back, excitedly think about it while you sit there and giggle for something. Like, yes, good job. And then the Gone with the Wind book, and then they went out for the, this thing, in the early morning, the sunrise, that's what the word is called. And that's when that poem came up. And I want to read the poem to you real quick, because this poem, one, plays a big role in the latter half of the story, and as you guys move on from my class, anytime you see a Outsiders meme, and there's a lot of Outsiders memes out there, it's going to probably be referring to this poem. So I'm going to run through it real quick.
That's me.
Because it says Eden?
Yeah.
You're correct. Although, do you know what your name comes from?
Yeah.
What?
Bible.
Good job. Because that's going to play a role. Yes, the parents are fighting again. We're all shocked. So, in book, what page was it?
76.
76.
Yeah, boy.
76.
The rumor is it's on page 76.
Wait, actually, because
No, it's not. It's on 77. You're so close.
67.
7. Oh.
I really wanted to say 67, but I was being really.
So this is when they're sitting outside and Johnny comes out to visit with Pony Boy, and then Pony Boy breaks into a poem, as teenage boys tend to do. I said trying to blow a smoke ring. It's too bad it couldn't stay like that all the time.
77.
Nothing gold can stay. I was remembering a poem I'd read once. What? Nature's first green is gold. Her heart is hue to hold. Her early leaves a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down to day. Nothing gold can stay. So with this poem, it is both a very positive poem and a very depressing poem for the same reason. So as you go through it, where it says, nature's first green is gold, her heart is hue to hold. The idea is, beginning of the year, we have beautiful prettiness, everything becomes green, and we have springtime. Does that last forever?
No.
It goes away. So springtime doesn't last. Her early leaves a flower, but only so an hour. Same thing, you have this beautiful stuff called spring, flowers, they pop up, and you're like, it's so beautiful, but flowers die, they don't last forever. Leaf subsides to leaf, Eden sank to grief. Not this Eden, but this Eden referring to
The Bible.
So the idea is, in the Bible, Garden of Eden, it starts off as the perfect place for humans to live, and then the snake shows up and that apple issue, and then all of a sudden it goes from the perfect place to a depressing place. So even a place of perfection, a place of perfection, place of perfection falls to badness. So dawn goes down to day, meaning you wake up and it can't be morning forever. Eventually you have to go to school. Nothing gold can stay.
Wait.
Here, gold represents like your happiness, the joy in life, what brings you the things that make things better. Everything in your life that you enjoy is going to eventually disappear. All the happy things that bring you smiles are going to die. So the idea is, it's depressing because it's telling you whatever you love is going to die. But it's also supposed to be uplifting because the idea is, while you have a thing you love, don't take it for granted. Enjoy it. While you have friends that live near you and you can hang out with them, enjoy it. While you have a class with a whole bunch of your friends and you get to sit near them, enjoy it. When you have that teacher that you enjoy it, because eventually you move on. Everything that is gold and happy in your life is going to eventually disappear. So while you have that thing, enjoy that thing. Gabe,
Like a vacation?
like a vacation. Enjoy your golden vacation while it's there, because eventually it goes away. Eden.
Should I bring everyone like smiles and stuff? One day I'm gonna die.
And one day we can only cross our fingers. Someday Eden will die too.
Oh, Clay! 4 times.
Adlo. That's a wall.
She didn't like it when we said it was a balloon.
That would be someone who shoved a calculator back there. So not me. But thanks. That's not where I store my calculators.
Whoa.
That's where some other kids stored a calculator. So
It's a nori.
again, this is my shock face. So making sure you understand poem, refer back to it. While they're hanging out at the church, who shows up for them?
Wow.
Daddy shows up. And then he's driving. Buck is the friend when Johnny and Ponyboy killed Bob and they had to go find Dally and they went to that guy's house. That was Buck. And so this is Buck's Thunderbird that they're going to be driving around in for the next chapter or so. I just wanted you to see what a Thunderbird is.
Thank you.
And there is a note that gets dropped off. Who writes the note?
Soda pop.
Soda
And that's where Soda Pop comes in and he writes the note to them. They get a little bonding thing. Ooh, and we find out that Dally is carrying a heater.
A gun.
There you go. And this is where a heater comes in. And that is going to play a very big role shortly.
Wait, Luke, you done her. You do. Wait, let's see.
What are we seeing?
I don't know.
Me either.
Everything's told. Wait, wait. Oh, never mind.
Done. Never had one.
Wait. Wait, we're reading to chapter 11?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Page 85. So now we have Dally has shown up and they've all been hanging. Oh, I forgot. We found out there is a spy that's going to help them.
Cherry!
The redheaded girl Cherry. And she has decided that even though they killed her boyfriend, that she's going to try to help them, but that's going to cause a whole lot of drama coming up in a moment.
What if it was the other girl's boyfriend?
Marcia. Apparently we don't care about her. I don't know. Adlo. Nope. Now that you've turned in that first assignment, I mean, you can if you want, but I'm not making you. Okay. Chapter 6.
My shoe flew.
Johnny gagged, and I almost dropped my hot fudge sundae. Cherry? We both said at the same time. The Soch? Yeah, Dally said. She came over to the vacant lot the night Two-Bit was jumped. Shepard and some of his outfit and one of us were hanging around there when she drives up in her little old Stingray. Oh, I can show you that too. Apparently, Cherry is what we call rich. That's the T-Bird. Oh, I don't have it yet. Dang it.
Oh no.
There's the Dally's T-Bird.
Oh, it's gonna burn down.
Oh, you have no idea.
Spoiling!
A random
I hate
picture I accidentally showed you.
Come
I thought I had a picture of her car. I don't.
That's not a car?
No.
Oh, no.
Little old Stingray, which by the way is a really expensive Corvette. That took a lot of nerve. Some of us was for jumping her right then and there. I mean, her being that dead kid's girl and all. But Two-Bit stopped us. Man, next time I want a broad, I'll pick up my own kind. Yeah, Johnny said slowly. And I wondered if, like me, he was remembering another voice, also tough and just deepened into manhood, saying, next time you want a broad, pick up your own kind. Who said that to him?
Bob.
Dude.
Right, that was Bob, who was right before he got killed. It gave me the creeps. Dally was going on. Yeah, she said she felt that the whole mess was her fault, which it is, and that she'd keep up with what was coming off with the Socs in the rumble, and would testify that the Socs were drunk and looking for a fight, and that you fought back in self-defense. He gave a grim laugh. That little gal sure does hate me. I offered to take her over to the Dingo for a Coke, and she said no thank you, and then told me where I could go in very polite terms. Quick pause. So realize, Dally just asked her out. Her boyfriend didn't break up with her. He died like 3 days ago, stabbed by one of Dally's friends. And he's like, hey baby, how you doing? And I'm like, dude, time and place. The girl's anyway, sometimes guys are clueless. She was afraid of loving you, I thought. So Cherry Balance, the cheerleader, Bob's girl, the Soch, was trying to help us. No, it wasn't Cherry the Soch who was helping us. It was Cherry the Dreamer, who watched sunsets and couldn't stand fights. It was hard to believe a Soch would help us, even a Soch that dug sunsets. Dally didn't notice. He'd forgotten about it already. Man, this place is out of it. What do they do for kicks around here? Playing checkers? Dally surveyed the scene without interest. I ain't never been in the country before. Have you two? Johnny shook his head, but I said, yeah, Dad used to take us all hunting. I've been in the country before. How'd you know about the church? Well, I got a cousin that lives around here somewhere. Tipped me off that it'd make a tough hideout in case of something. Hey, Pony Boy, I heard you was the best shot in the family. Yeah, Derry always got the most ducks, though. Him and Dad, Soda and I goofed around too much. Scared most of our game away. I couldn't tell Dad that I hated to shoot things. He'd think I was soft. That was a good idea. I mean, cutting your hair and bleaching it. They printed your descriptions in the paper, but you sure wouldn't fit them now. Johnny had been quietly finishing his 5th barbecue sandwich. But now he announced, we're going back. Turn ourselves in. It was Dally's turn to gag, and then he swore a while, and then he turned to Johnny and demanded, what? I said we're going back and turn ourselves in, Johnny repeated in a quiet voice. I was surprised, but not shocked. I thought about turning ourselves in lots of times, but apparently the whole idea was a jolt to Dallas. I got a good chance of being let off easy, Johnny said desperately. I didn't know if it was Dally he was trying to convince or himself. I ain't got no record with the fuzz, and it was self-defense. Pony Boy and Cherry can testify to that. And I don't aim to stay in that church all my life. That was quite a speech for Johnny. His big black eyes grew bigger than ever at the thought of going to the police station. For Johnny had a deathly fear of cops. But he went on. We won't tell that you helped us, Dally, and we'll give you back the gun and what's left of the money, and say we hitchhiked back so you won't get into trouble, okay? Dally was chewing the corner of his ID card, which gave his age as 21 so he could buy liquor. You sure you want to go back? Us greasers get it worse than anyone else. Johnny nodded. I'm sure. It ain't fair for Pony Boy to have to stay up in that church with dairy and soda worried about him all the time. I don't guess. He swallowed, tried not to look eager. I don't guess my parents are worried about me or anything. The boys are worried? Dally said in a matter-of-fact voice. Two-Bit was going to go to Texas to hunt for you. My parents. Did they ask about me? No, snapped Dally. No, they didn't. And blast it, Johnny. What do they matter? Shoot. My old man don't give a hang whether I'm in jail or dead in a car wreck or drunk in the gutter. That don't bother me none. Johnny didn't say anything, but he stared at the dashboard with such hurt bewilderment that I could have bawled. To pause real quick. Johnny killed a guy, runs away from home, and is gone for a week, and his parents don't even check up on him. Don't try to track him down, don't even ask his friends. They're just like, huh? Our kid's a murderer and he's gone. What's for dinner? And they just like move right on. So later on, when we meet Johnny's mom, you'll have an understanding of what kind of relationship they have. Dally cussed under his breath and nearly tore out the transmission of the T-word as we roared out of the Dairy Queen. I felt sorry for Dally. He meant it when he said he didn't care about his parents, but he and the rest of the gang knew Johnny cared and did everything they could to make it up to him. I don't know what it was about Johnny. Maybe that lost puppy look and those big scared eyes were what made everyone his big brother. But they couldn't, no matter how hard they tried, take the place of his parents. I thought about it for a minute. Dairy and Soda Pop were my brothers, and I loved both of them, even if Dairy did scare me. But even Soda could take Mom and Dad's place, and they were my real brothers, not just sort of adopted ones. It was no wonder Johnny was hurt because his parents didn't want him. I mean, Dally could take it. Dally was the breed that could take anything because he was hard and tough. And when he wasn't, he could turn hard and tough. Johnny was a good fighter and could play it cool, but he was sensitive. That isn't a good way to be when you're a greaser. Blast it, Johnny! Dally growled as we flew along the red road. Why didn't you think of turning yourself in 5 days ago? Would have saved a lot of trouble. I was scared. I still am. He ran his finger down one of his short black sideburns. I guess we ruined our hair for nothing, Pony Boy. I guess so. I was glad we were going back. I was sick of that church. I didn't care if I was bald. Dally was scowling, and from long and painful experience, I knew better than to talk to him when his eyes were blazing like that. I'd likely as not get clobbered over the head. That happened before, just as it had happened to all the gang at one time or another. We rarely fought amongst ourselves. Dairy was the unofficial leader since he kept his head the best. Soda and Steve, having been best friends since grade school, never fought, and Two-Bit was just too lazy to argue with anyone. And Johnny kept his mouth shut too much to get into arguments, and nobody ever fought Johnny. I kept my mouth shut too, but Dally was a different matter. If something beefed him, he didn't keep quiet about it, and if you rubbed him the wrong way, look out. Not even Dairy wanted to tangle with him. He was dangerous. Johnny just sat there, stared at his feet. He hated for any one of us to be mad at him. He looked awful sad. Dally glanced at him out of the corner of his eye. I looked out the window. Johnny, Dally said in a pleading high voice, using a tone I'd never heard from him before. Johnny, I ain't mad at you. I just don't want you to get hurt. You don't know what a few months in jail can do to you. Blast it, Johnny! He pushed his white blonde hair back out of his eyes. You get hardened in jail. I don't want that to happen to you. It could happen to me. I kept staring out the window at the rapidly passing scenery, but I felt my eyes getting round. Dally never talked like that. Never! Dally didn't give a Yankee dime about anyone but himself. He was cold and hard and mean. He never talked about his past or being in jail that way. If he talked about it at all, it was to brag. I suddenly thought of Dally in jail at the age of 10. Dally growing up in the streets. Would you rather have me living in hideouts the rest of my life? Always on the run? Johnny asked seriously. If Dally said yes, Johnny would have gone back to the church without hesitation. He figured Dally knew more than he did, and Dally's word was law. But he never heard Dally's answer, for we had reached the top of Jade Mountain, and Dally suddenly slammed on the brakes and stared. Oh, glory! The church was on fire. Let's go see what the deal is, I said, hopping out. What for? Dally sounded irritated. Get back in here before I beat your head in. I knew Dally would have to park the car and catch me before he could carry out his threat. Johnny was already out and following me, so I figured I was safe. We couldn't hear him cussing us out, but he wasn't mad enough to come after us. There was a crowd at the front of the church, mostly little kids, and I wondered how they'd gotten here so quickly. I tapped the nearest grown-up. What's going on? Well, we don't know for sure, the man said with a good-natured grin. We were having a school picnic up here, and the first thing we knew, the place is burning up. Thank goodness this is a wet season, and the old thing is worthless anyway. And then to the kids, he shouted, Stand back, children! The firemen will be coming soon! I bet we started it, I said to Johnny. We must have dropped like a lighted cigarette or something. About that time, a lady came running up. Jerry! Some of the kids are missing! They're probably around here somewhere. You can't tell with all the excitement where they might be. No! She shook her head. They've been missing for at least a half an hour. I thought they were climbing the hill. Then we all froze. Faintly, just faintly, we could hear someone yelling, and it sounded like it was coming from inside the church. The woman went white. I told him not to play in the church. I told him. She looked like she was going to start screaming, so Jerry shook her. I'll get him. Don't worry. I started at a dead run for the church, and the man caught my arm. I'll get him. You kids stay out. A quick pause for two things. One, got that. This thing. Jerry is my favorite character in the entire book. Here's the reason why. Well, one, if you'd like to sit down, you can sit down over here, or you can stay standing over there. I don't know if your legs hurt if you want to sit down. Okay, just want to help out. The reason Jerry is my favorite character is he takes his kid. Yes. Yeah. I'm just trying to be nice to you. You were standing and not complaining the whole time, so I was trying to be nice-ish. Jerry takes his kids on a field trip. I'm going to take you guys to Camp Tecumseh for 3 days and hike with you guys. Where does he take his kids for a field trip?
In a burning church.
Not a burning church. Yeah, an abandoned church. He's like, let's go, kids, abandoned church. And he takes his kids to the field trip there. One, that's awesome. Two, all of a sudden, there's a bunch of kids missing, and the other teacher's freaking out. What does Jerry do? Yeah, he's like, missing kids? We got the good ones. And he was like, what? There's a fire burning and there's kids inside, and the other teacher freaks out and he's like, woman, relax, they're just kids. That's great teaching right there. You don't freak out. You just go ahead and let those kids burn. Now, we've picked my favorite character. Let's get to my favorite scene. Colton? No, just this one scene. It's all Jerry time. Yes.
After class, I get a Camp Tecumseh.
You can, not a problem at all.
Wait, can I turn them off?
You can again. I'll get them, don't worry. I started a dead run to the church, and the man caught my arm. I'll get him, you kids stay out. I jerked loose and ran on. All I could think was, we started it. I wasn't about to go through that flaming door, so I slammed a big rock through a window and pulled myself in. It was a wonder I didn't cut myself to death, now that I think about it. Hey, Pony Boy! I looked around, startled. I hadn't realized Johnny had been right behind me all the way. I took a deep breath and then started coughing. The smoke filled my eyes and they started watering. Is that guy coming? Johnny shook his head. Nah, the window stopped him. Too scared? Nah. Johnny gave me a grin. Too fat. I couldn't laugh because I was scared I would drown in the smoke. The roar and crackling was getting louder, and Johnny shouted the next question. "Where's the kids?" "In the back, I guess," I hollered. And we started stumbling to the church. I should be scared, I thought, with an odd detached feeling. But I'm not. The cinders and embers began falling on us, stinging and smarting like ants. Suddenly, in the red glow of the haze, I remembered wondering what it was like in a burning ember, and I thought, now I know. It's a red hell. Why aren't I scared? We pushed open the door to the back room and found 4 or 5 little kids, about 8 years old or younger, huddled in a corner. One was screaming his head off, and Johnny yelled, "Shut up! We're going to get you out!" And the kid looked surprised and quit hollering. I blinked myself. Johnny wasn't behaving at all like his old self. He looked over his shoulder and saw that the door was blocked by flames, then pushed open the window and tossed out the nearest kid. I caught one quick look at his face. It was red marked from fallen embers and sweat streaked, but he grinned at me. He wasn't scared either. That was the only time I can think of when I saw him without that defeated, suspicious look in his eyes. He looked like he was having the time of his life. I picked up a kid, and he promptly bit me, but I leaned out the window and dropped him as gently as I could, being in a hurry like that. A crowd was there by that time. Dally was standing there, and when he saw me, he screamed, "For Pete's sake, get out of there! That roof's going to cave in any minute! Forget them blasted kids!" I didn't pay any attention, although pieces of the old roof were crashing down, too close for comfort. I snatched up another kid, hoping this one didn't bite, and dropped him without waiting to see if he landed okay or not. I was coughing so hard I could hardly stand up, and I wished I had time to take off Dally's jacket. It was hot. We dropped the last of the kids out as the front of the church started to crumble. Johnny shoved me toward the window. "Get out!" I leapt out the window and heard timber crashing and the flames roaring right behind me. I staggered, almost falling, coughing and sobbing for breath. Then I heard Johnny scream, and as I turned to go back for him, Dally swore at me and then clubbed me across the back as hard as he could, and I went down into peaceful darkness. Let me explain.
He died.
No, he did not die. So, one, with big fire going on, why doesn't Jerry go into the church?
He's too big.
So, I'm a person that grew up on cartoons. So when I heard that, I immediately made a cartoon connection. So my cartoon connection was Winnie the Pooh when he tries to go through the little hole in the wall and his little feet are sticking out because his butt's too big. And so that was my first thought with the hole going through the thing, which just sort of made me giggle. And then the next part after that, they start saving the kids. So when they save the kids, what happens when Ponyboy picks up the kid to save him?
He bites him.
Again, here's my cartoon brain comes in. I can imagine, so like the cartoon, when they have like a little fish, like it's on the end of the they're shaking it around, like, no! I did the cartoon mode of like a little kid on the end of the hand, like, no! And like just shaking the little kid back and forth, and then that really made me giggle. But here's my favoriteest part. How do they save the kids? Do you know how many kids I would save if all I had to do was chuck them out windows? I would walk around saving kids just nonstop, just chucking kids out windows because I care about saving kids. And I know your thought is in here, Mr. Broviak, you can't save us because there's no windows. That's quitter thinking. If I throw you against that wall hard enough times, there's going to be a window where you're not going to have to worry about being saved. That's how I care about kids. So I'm here to help you. So anytime you need saving, you just look at me and I will chuck you out a window. I mean, hopefully not a first window. I like a second, third, fourth, fifth story window. That's where the good saving happens. I mean, first story windows, anyone can get saved on those. Hi, Rudy.
Do you know the YouTube video Charlie Bit My Finger?
Yeah. By the way, Do you know how hard it is to Google and find a picture of someone throwing children out windows?
Not that hard.
It is. I had to go through so many pictures where I finally, I have no idea what's going on, but I saw this guy chucking a kid out a window. And I'm like, look at him saving that little boy. That kid, he's like, I'm saved! As he goes through the air. Oh, it brought me such joy. And then that end part was the bad things. When they were talking about the beams collapsing that are on fire, these are the beams that were on fire. And that's when they were coming down. Which also brings my next favorite part, the very end, when Pony Boy, did you realize why his back was hot?
Because his was on fire.
Yeah, he was on fire. When you were a kid and you were in elementary school, what did they teach you to do?
Stop jumping the rope.
Right? Here he did not. How does Dally save him?
Boom!
Yeah, punches him in the spine. Again, anytime you need me to save you, I will throw you out a window and punch you in the. For some of you, I'll do both because that's how much I care trying to save you. I will punch you once in the spine, like you don't feel saved yet, and I'll just start throwing you against that door. I care about children. Rudy!
Wait, what window did they throw them on? Like the first floor window or the second?
If I have to, I'll use the stairs to get higher up to save a
No,
kid.
not you. Him.
Oh.
Boy and John.
I think this was a first story window. I know, I was disappointed too. I really thought he should have like climbed on the roof to save the kids, but you know how it goes. Oh, Jerry's not gone yet. Jerry gets to show up just a little bit more.
Does he die?
Yes, when Jerry dies.
No.
No, Jerry does not die.
Yeah.
When I came to, I was being bounced around, and I ached and smarted and wondered dimly. You guys know what smarted means?
Thought. Like they thought about it.
It's like when your skin is stinging. Like if you smack your arm and you have like that little stingy bit, that's smarting. I didn't want you to think like he was like sitting there going like 2 + 2 is 4, 5 + 5 is 10. No, it means like your skin is hurting. I tried to think, but there was a high-pitched screaming going on, and I couldn't tell whether it was inside my head or out. Then I realized it was a siren. The buzz, I thought dully. The cops have come for us. I tried to swallow a groan and wished wildly for soda. Someone with a cold, wet rag was gently sponging off my face, and a voice said, I think he's coming around. I opened my eyes. It was dark. I'm moving, I thought. Are they taking me to jail? Where? I said hoarsely, not able to get anything else out of my mouth. My throat was sore. I blinked at the stranger sitting beside me, but he wasn't a stranger. I'd seen him before. Take it easy, kid. You're in an ambulance. Where's Johnny? I cried, frightened at being in this car with strangers. And Dallas. They're in the other ambulance right behind us. Just calm down. You're going to be okay. You just passed out. I didn't either, I said in the bored, tough voice reserved for strangers and cops. Dallas hit me. How come? Because your back was in flames. That's why. I was surprised. It was? Golly, I didn't feel it. It didn't hurt. We put it out before you got burned. That jacket saved you from a bad burning. Maybe saved your life. You just keeled over from smoke inhalation and a little shock. Of course, that slap on the back didn't help much. I remembered who he was then. Jerry somebody or other, who was too heavy to get in the window. He must be a school teacher, I thought. The best school teacher to ever exist. Are you taking us to the police station? I was still a little mixed up as to what was going on. The police station? It was his turn to be surprised. What would we want to take you to the police station for? We're taking all 3 of you to the hospital. I let his first remark slide by. Are Johnny and Dally all right? Which one's which? Johnny has black hair. Dally's the mean-looking one. He studied his wedding ring. Maybe he's thinking about his wife, I thought. I wish he'd say something. We think the toe-headed means blonde, Dally. We think the toe-headed kid's going to be all right. He burned one arm pretty badly, though, trying to drag that other kid out the window. Johnny, I don't know about him. A piece of timber caught him across the back. He might have a broken back. He was burned pretty severely. He passed out before he got out the window. They're giving him plasma now. He must have seen the look on my face because he hurriedly changed the subject. I swear, the three of you are the bravest kids I've seen in a long time. First, you and that black-haired kid climbing in the window, and then that tough-looking kid going back in to save him. Mrs. O'Brien and I think you were sent straight from heaven. Or are you just professional heroes or something? Sent from heaven? Had he gotten a good look at Dallas? No, we're greasers, I said. I was too worried and scared to appreciate the fact that he was trying to be funny. You're what? Greasers? Hoods? JDs? Johnny's wanted for murder, and Dallas has a record with the fuzz a mile long. Are you kidding me? Jerry stared at me as if he thought I was still in shock or something. I am not. Take me to town and you'll find out pretty quick. Well, we're taking you to a hospital there anyway. The address card in your billfold said that's where you lived. Your name's really Ponyboy? Yeah, even on my birth certificate. Don't bug me about it. Are the little kids okay? They're just fine. A little frightened, maybe. I mean, there were some short explosions right after you all got out. Sounded just exactly like gunfire. Gunfire? Well, there went our gun, and Gone with the Wind. Were we sent from heaven? I started to laugh weakly. I guess that guy knew how close to hysterics I really was, for he talked to me in a low, soothing voice all the way to the hospital. He just kept saying, there's a quiz on Monday. Read to page 130. I wish you guys the best of luck. Hopefully you have fun.
Did he actually say that?
He did. It was right there in the book.
Sammy.
Quiz is on Monday. Ooh, I could do it on Friday.
Whoa.
Thought Monday was better, but you were giving me grumpy face.
Whoa.